Ahsoka Tano's master, Anakin Skywalker, fell to the dark side and became the horrifying master known as Darth Vader. So why didn't Ahsoka herself fall to the dark side? As a young Padawan, she was very much like Anakin Skywalker after all. She was a character of action, the type of Jedi that was reckless at times and could get herself into a lot of trouble. Not to mention, she surely had a close bond with her master. They had forged a friendship in the heat of many battles, and so it's plain to see that Anakin had a great influence over Ahsoka. So even if Anakin Skywalker was influenced by Darth Sidious, why didn't Ahsoka follow Anakin Skywalker to the dark side? After all the horrible things that happened to her during the Clone Wars, after all the fighting, surely it could have happened. She could have fallen to the dark side. Well, a similar question was asked by Joseph Scrimshaw on the Force Center podcast, and they suggested that Padme Amidala was a major influence on Ahsoka. Padme, although not a Jedi, certainly upheld a lot of the Jedi ideals. For one, she always sought out peace first, but was willing to defend herself and others if necessary. Padme was an important female role model for Ahsoka, and I'd suggest she helped Ahsoka stay grounded in the light side. But moving on here, I'm going to share one of my most interesting ideas at the end of the video, but first I wanted to include some amazing ideas that were shared on the channel's community tab. So let's get started with the comment that had the most likes, and that's by Super Triton 11, and they state, "She cared deeply for Anakin, and she believed in the Jedi Order, but not the Jedi of the Clone Wars era. She is better at controlling her anger, and she had Trace and Rafa to help her after she left the Jedi Order. She also had friends like Captain Rex and Padme, and she wasn't as power hungry as Anakin." And yeah, Super Triton 11, I like your thoughts here, you give us a lot. I'd say Anakin really wanted to control others and control situations. He feels like in the Clone Wars that he has this massive power, yet no one is really willing to let him use it in the way he wants. And Palpatine is able to turn him to the dark side because he feels that way. And absolutely, Ahsoka isn't in that same situation. She doesn't want to control others. She doesn't think that if she was just unleashed, she'd be able to end the Clone Wars. But moving on to another good reason why Ahsoka didn't fall to the dark side, we have Sooner Thrawn's comment, and they state, "Ahsoka has another master in Obi-Wan who was guided by the light side, and she was with him a lot during the Clone Wars. I feel she had almost two masters, and she is so balanced because Anakin was over the top and wanted to bend the rules, and Obi-Wan was someone who always wanted to stick to the rules. So therefore, Ahsoka becomes a perfect balance of both of them." And yeah, this is a great point, Sooner Thrawn. This is something that came up quite a bit in the comments. And again, if you just add Padme into this mix, you can see that she has a lot of different influences. And in a similar line of thought, Machi or Munchie, I'm not sure how you say the name, suggests that the fact that she was brought to the temple at a young age by Plo Koon probably helped a great deal. She never experienced being a slave, for example. So yeah, the idea that Plo Koon is another great Jedi and that she looked up to him, that definitely works. But I would argue here that many people experience horrible moments in their lives and go on to be good and kind individuals. So being a slave may have been part of the problem for Anakin, but overall, I think it's a small part of that larger pie. And next up here we have Ellie, and she states, "But in the Ahsoka novel, we learn that she tries to find a compromise between Anakin's way and Obi-Wan's way. And there, I think we have our answer. Ahsoka, by leaving the temple, discovered how the real world works. She was also alone without anyone, and she had to change a great deal. She realized how much the Jedi were wrong. She became much wiser." And certainly, Ellie, the fact that Ahsoka steps away from the Jedi is definitely one of the reasons that she does not fall to the dark side. Not only does it give her separation from the Jedi who are going down a dark path, but also her master. So she literally couldn't follow him down that dark path. Though again, key to all that is the fact that she was willing and able to let go of that part of her life and move on. Certainly an important message for all of us fans who may find ourselves in a similar situation. But let's move on to the medieval Man 9. He states, I think she came close, very, very close. But there was one person there who was able to show her a path that didn't need to go down to the darkness. Ventress. After everything she'd been through and after everything that she'd done, Ventress was no longer allowing the dark side to dictate her choices and destiny. As Ventress told her, she and Ahsoka had a lot in common at that point. Betrayal by their masters, thrown aside for expediency, etc. So to see that even someone like Ventress could see the folly in using the dark side would be a powerful impact on her thoughts and feelings. If even Ventress is rejecting the dark side, then how could she possibly go down it herself? And certainly in Medieval Man 9, I like how you're thinking out of the box. Ventress is not a character I was thinking about, but certainly just Ahsoka observing Ventress in her transition from Sith to, I suppose, bounty hunter. There's a lot to be learned there. So I really appreciate you thinking of something original. That said, let's move on to another longtime subscriber, and that is Greg Dennison. He has a great comment. He says, the obvious one would be Plo Koon, but I've always said that the Clone Wars series showed just how much Anakin tried to do the right thing, and I think that was Ahsoka's main influence. The difference between Anakin and Ahsoka's path was most clear when Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order, something that Anakin wished he could do, but felt he couldn't. But Ahsoka, on the other hand, seemed to wish she could stay, but felt she couldn't. I think the tipping point for Anakin was losing Padme, but Ahsoka never had that level of commitment. And absolutely, I love your analysis here, Greg, about how Anakin wished he could leave, and Ahsoka, whether it's the fact that she's just younger, or maybe even a little wiser than Anakin, realizes that she has to leave the Jedi Order. And moving on here, we have Riderless Nut, who states in the comments, I think it's because Ahsoka is able to learn to let go of her attachments. I remember during the Onderon arc, there was this little love triangle going on with Ahsoka, Steela, Guerrera, and Lux. At first, Ahsoka is feeling jealous and gets clouded by her emotions. But by the end of the arc, Steela shows her true feelings for Lux and kisses him. Ahsoka witnesses this and gives Lux a friendly smile and bump on the shoulder. Moving past her feelings and accepting Lux as just a friend. I'm sure Ahsoka still has those feelings in that moment, but she pushes it aside for her responsibilities, which is something I honestly don't think Anakin is capable of doing, as we see in the Clone Wars Season 6, when Anakin loses it on Rush Clovis. Also, her decision to let go of Anakin and the Jedi Order was a big one, showing she was able to walk away from everything that she once loved, as Yoda once told Anakin, train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. And Ahsoka lived this. In Riderless Nut, this is absolutely a big part of it, right? The attachments that Anakin has, his inability to let go of things, and how he wants to control things. Ahsoka, on the other hand, is able to let go, and this is why she remains on the light side. Great comment, as always, Riderless Nut, thank you. Let's move on to Jet Blast 190. He states on the community tab, her separation from the Jedi likely shielded her from the temptations of the dark side, such as what befell the Grand Inquisitor and other Jedi who fell to the dark side after Order 66. And finally, I think she was just better than Anakin at letting go of her personal and worldly connections. Absolutely, Jet Blast 190. I like how you sort of echoed what Riderless Nut is saying here, and that the real key to Ahsoka not falling to the dark side was the fact that she was able to let go, that she didn't have those attachments, that she wasn't trying to control other people. And I think ultimately that's one of the messages of George Lucas and Dave Filoni's work. That's how you give in to the dark side in real life, not letting go of those attachments and wanting to be in control of everything. But I did promise you I had one more thing to say, and that is that Ahsoka probably didn't fall to the dark side because she seems to have some sort of essence from the daughter if we go back to the Clone Wars Mortis story arc, by the daughter sacrificing her life. So I believe in this way Ahsoka does have some sort of essence from the daughter, and certainly we've seen Morai, which seems to be some sort of animal spirit of the daughter guiding Ahsoka. So there you have it. There's lots of reasons reasons why Ahsoka didn't fall to the dark side. Certainly I want to say a big thank you to the community. Tons of great comments this time around on the community tab, as always. I love the fact that I can learn so much about Star Wars and life in general just by asking a question on the community tab. So please keep those comments coming. And as always, I'm Mike. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.